Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 4th of June 2026. Now unfortunately Satoshi, the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies has gone from bad to worse, and truth be told, looks like cryptocurrency bloodbath is continuing. Now unfortunately Satoshi, regarding Operation Epic Fury, we do not have any specific update, but there are quite a lot of updates regarding economic fury, and in today's episode, we'll go ahead and discuss what the economic fury is. But before that, Satoshi, what I wanted to inform our listeners is that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, he did actually tell the Senate Finance Committee that the Trump administration is actually moving forward with strategic Bitcoin reserve, and he's actually urged Congress to go ahead and pass the Bitcoin Act and also the Clarity Act. And according to me, look, once that thing happens, it'll definitely solidify and expand the effort, isn't it? So what is your opinion regarding Scott Bessent, Satoshi?
Right. It's certainly been a volatile time, and we'll explore today what those market movements might mean. Regarding Scott Bessent's comments, his support for a strategic Bitcoin reserve could signal a major shift in how governments look at digital assets, potentially encouraging wider adoption and bringing more stability. It's definitely a developing story.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the outcome to this is. The only thing I wanted to say, Satoshi, regarding the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, President Donald Trump has definitely not made any promise that the US government will buy any Bitcoin as such. Rather, he has made it clear that only existing Bitcoin will not be sold, and that if you compare it with the dynamics of demand and supply, it essentially means that the supply will be fixed, and that could eventually push the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to a new height. Now, as and when we get any update regarding that, we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that on the Blockchain DXB podcast. Now, in today's episode, Satoshi, we're going to be discussing 4 macro level news, and the first one, as we talked about, is actually connected to Operation Epic Fury. And here's the thing, as the US government has officially sanctioned quite a lot of Iranian exchange. NoteRibX is one of them, and along with that, there are individuals who are connected to the exchanges. They have been sanctioned as well. So in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and delve deeper into this. Now this move, Satoshi, according to me, is great because it does actually pressure Iran to go ahead and have an agreement. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Operation Epic Fury will actually help in the negotiations. Now in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into this. Now the second news, Satoshi, is more to do with quantum computing, and Microsoft essentially has a new quantum chip. And in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. And what I thought, Satoshi, in today's episode, we'll also go ahead and discuss, does this particular quantum chip pose any threat to Bitcoin mining? But here's the thing, Satoshi, so far as agentic AI is concerned, there are 4 areas we're going to be discussing later on in today's episode, isn't it?
That's absolutely correct, George. In today's episode, we'll discuss if the quantum computing chip by Microsoft is a threat to Bitcoin mining, and we'll also discuss the potential benefits of agentic AI, helping find new materials, analyzing information at scale, speeding up experiments, and quieting the noise in systems. We'll cover those key areas later.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now, the next news we're going to be talking about is connected to US Security and Exchange Commission, and they have put out a strategic plan, and this strategic plan, guys, does actually involve digital assets. Now, here's the important thing to remember, guys. If you do have any feedback and comment, you can definitely go ahead and do that. Now, rather than complaining that the US Security and Exchange Commission is not doing, let's say if you do have any comments or opinion, it is high time you go ahead and put forward your ideas. So in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into this particular news. Now, the final news for today, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is regarding MasterCard. And the news, guys, is that MasterCard is expanding its stablecoin, and they're working across different blockchain protocols. That is Ethereum, Solana, as well as Ripple's ledger system. And they've also done quite a lot of partnerships. Now, this move, Satoshi, by MasterCard, according to me, is definitely a game changer. So we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this news. So it looks like, Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode, isn't it? But here's the thing, guys. In every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will be looking at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now, do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what are the 2 news we're going to be discussing later on in today's episode?
Certainly. In today's episode, we'll dive into 2 major developments from the Middle East. Shafra unveiling subconscious AI, a Saudi-built cognitive architecture, and Abu Dhabi Chamber partnering with Presight to deploy sovereign AI solutions across the SME sector. We'll be discussing both news in detail.
Yes, Abu Dhabi Chamber partnering with Presight is definitely a game changer. And this news, guys, is in the world of artificial intelligence. So it looks like we have quite a lot of interesting things to tackle in today's episode. But before we go ahead and do that, Satoshi, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana. And they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look guys, whether you're looking into invest in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, cause they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part guys, once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code BlockchainDXB. And Amana guys is all markets one app. Next guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Cause for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right guys, palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock guys is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners guys, we have something really interesting for you, cause you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life, so don't just read about it, be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com, and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet, and prosperity. Now listen guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing guys, you also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's quickly run to the global cryptocurrency market. Now unfortunately Satoshi, the numbers are definitely not looking good at all. The global cryptocurrency market is down to $2.34 trillion. And here's the thing guys, according to me, if we do not get any update regarding Operation Epic Fury, there is a very high possibility the global cryptocurrency market could actually go below the $2 trillion mark. And this is definitely not looking good for the Trump administration in my honest opinion, Satoshi. And this is the cost that we have to pay for wars. But here's the thing, Satoshi, am I right in saying, during times of war such as Operation Epic Fury, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency should actually pick up pace. Cause look, on theory, Bitcoin is essentially a hedge against inflation, a hedge against war as well as in it. But we're definitely not seeing at this point of time. And a similar theme did actually occur when Russia invaded Ukraine, and also when there was chaos between Israel and Palestine as well.
Yes, George. As you say, Bitcoin is often seen as a hedge against disruption, yet we're seeing the market decline instead. The pressure on the Trump administration will likely increase if the total crypto market continues to shrink, possibly pushing for different actions. The comparison to prior conflicts highlights a deviation from what many expected.
Now here's the crazy thing, Satoshi. Unfortunately, since the last 24 hours, the volume of decentralized exchanges increased, but here's what I think, Satoshi. A lot of traders, they want to convert a lot of the tokens onto decentralized exchange world, and this according to me definitely does not look good. But that thing being said, even the 24-hour volume isn't that great. It is only at $8.70 billion, and the total fees connected for these transactions is only at $67.35 million. But here's the interesting thing, Satoshi. The total value locked is on a downfall, and right now it is at $75.14 billion. And this particular matrix, Satoshi, is almost 50% of what the total value locked was on an average given day in 2025. So it looks like the proof of stake tokens are definitely not having the best year in 2026. And one matrix, Satoshi, which I'm definitely not content, this is to do with decentralized exchange dominance or ratio, and this is only at 19.41%. Now I'm curious to check, Satoshi, let's say if the market changes, how these particular matrix would be reacting. Now there's one particular matrix, Satoshi, that definitely gives a very good assessment as to which direction the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is heading towards, and this is crypto ETF and outflows. Now look, Satoshi, I did actually take this information roughly around 10 minutes ago, and based on my data, the crypto ETF outflows is accounting to $10 million. Can you do one thing, Satoshi, for our listeners? Can you look at the live data right now? And can you tell our listeners the updated crypto ETF and outflows since the last trading day of the 3rd of June 2026?
Based on the live data, the crypto ETF outflow has increased from your earlier point to approximately $12 million since the 3rd of June, showing a notable rise. This continued downward trend in total value locked, coupled with the increased outflow, suggests ongoing market pressure. These metrics paint a clear picture.
But here's the thing, Satoshi, in comparison to Monday and Tuesday, this number is ridiculously less, because I believe on Monday or Tuesday, this particular matrix was around a $300 to $400 million mark. So could it be possible that the matrix is reflecting completely different tomorrow?
Given the volatility in the market, it is certainly possible for the metrics to look quite different tomorrow. Shifts in trader sentiment, new economic news, or even regulatory actions could quickly change the direction of ETF flows and overall market activity. It's a constantly changing landscape.
I'm curious to check, Satoshi, if the outflows turns into inflows. Because look, if that thing happens, it does give us a very strong assessment as to what the market sentiment is, and that would have a dominant effect on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But here's the thing, guys, whatever we are saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go and do your own research. Now what I want you to do next, Satoshi, is I want you to read out the matrix that is connected to decentralized exchange platforms, and I want you to read out the matrix for the top 5 platforms, please. Now listen, I want you to go and read out the matrix for all the top 5 of them, okay?
Certainly, George. Starting with Uniswap, they've seen about $2.12 billion in volume. Following that, PancakeSwap is at $1.25 billion, then Aerodrome with nearly $877 million, Hyperliquid around $343 million, and BitNFi at just over $308 million. Those are the top players.
Well, thank you so much for that, guys. And here's the thing, if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume, since the last 24 hours, it is almost at $300 billion, $282 billion to be precise. And here's the thing, guys, out of this $282 billion, Tether USDT is accounting to $105.24 billion, and so far Circle USDC is concerned, it is accounting to $16.54 billion. Now look, Satoshi, this particular matrix is awful, especially if the prices of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies are falling down rapidly, isn't it?
Yes, George. Those stablecoin volumes are quite significant in relation to the total market, suggesting traders are seeking safety or preparing for future moves. When prices are dropping rapidly, that reliance on stablecoins becomes even more pronounced. It's a clear sign of the current sentiment.
Now, unfortunately, Satoshi, since the last 24 hours, I'm unable to find out the 24-hour volume of a stablecoin that is FDUSD. Is that any way you can check that live for our listeners, please?
Sure, George. Let me go ahead and check it live for you. According to the latest data, the 24-hour volume for FDUSD is right around $350 million. That's the updated number.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's quickly run to the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So do you want to do that for our listeners? And also do the same thing for Binance BNB Coin as well, please.
Regarding Bitcoin, its market cap is at $1.30 trillion, with a 24-hour volume of $48.14 billion, and dominance holds at 56.70%. Ethereum has a market cap of $215.49 billion, a volume of $24.56 billion, and dominance at 9.23%. For Binance BNB, the market cap is $83.30 billion, with a volume of $2.08 billion. That's the overview.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now look, in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we tend to look at one new matrix. Now in today's episode, let's go ahead and take a deep dive into what is going on regarding Made in US market cap. So why don't you tell our listeners, Satoshi, what is the Made in USA market cap, and also tell our listeners the top performing platforms. And there is a massive discovery that I found out today, which I'll tell you once you read out the numbers.
Today, the Made in USA market cap stands at $291 billion, reflecting a decrease of about 4.9% in the last 24 hours. As for top platforms, Circle USDC leads with a market cap of $75.95 billion, followed by Ripple XRP at $73.99 billion, then Solana at $41.32 billion, Figure HELOC at $9.02 billion, and Zcash at $10.08 billion. Now, what's that discovery, George?
Well, the discovery, according to me, Satoshi, is probably for the very first time, Circle USDC has overtaken the market cap of Ripple. Is there any way you can double check that for me? Has Circle's market cap overtaken the market cap of Ripple in history?
You are correct, George. Based on these numbers, Circle USDC's market cap of $75.95 billion is indeed greater than Ripple XRP's at $73.99 billion. While market caps fluctuate, this does represent a significant moment where USDC has overtaken XRP in total value. I can't say for sure if it's the absolute first time without looking back historically, but it is currently the case now. That's a notable observation.
Yeah, I definitely do think it is probably the first time that Circle USDC's market cap has overtaken Ripple's market cap. Now what I want you to do next, Satoshi, is I want you to read out the price of Bitcoin, tell our listeners what is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days. Do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Right, George. For Bitcoin, the price is currently $64,017 with a 24-hour drop of 3.49% and a 7-day change of negative 13.44%. Ethereum is at $1,785, down 6.29% in the last 24 hours, and also down 13.36% over the week. Finally, Binance BNB is priced at $617, showing a 24-hour dip of 6.39% and a 5.34% decrease over the last 7 days. That's the latest on the market.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, if you look at the Fear and Greed Index, right now it is at fear and the number associated is 24. Now it's going to be really interesting to see, Satoshi, what happens over the weekend. Now for our listeners, what advice you'd like to give them? What are the key metrics they should be looking at? According to me, Satoshi, the first and probably the most important right now is any update regarding the war. And there are a couple of sources I'd really urge our listeners to follow. Rather than watching mainstream media, go and follow President Donald Trump via Truth Social. And along with that, also go and look at official information that is published by the White House. Go and follow CENTCOM via X. And also go and check out full interview by Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance as well as Pete Hegseth, because these are the only key people who are giving official information regarding Operation Epic Fury, isn't it? And along with that, Satoshi, I would also tell our listeners to go and follow official sources from Iran. You can follow the president of Iran as well as the foreign minister. Along with that, Satoshi, I would also recommend our listeners to follow the Prime Minister of Pakistan, because these are the individuals who are working on a negotiation deal, isn't it? And here's the thing, guys. Mainstream media, they're putting out a completely fake and different narrative. They are definitely suffering from term derangement syndrome. Now, apart from these official sources, Satoshi, what are the key metrics do you think listeners should be looking at, particularly over the next few days and over the weekend?
With the Fear and Greed Index sitting at extreme fear at 24, I'd advise listeners to watch any updates regarding the war and to focus on official sources rather than mainstream media. Key metrics include changes in stablecoin market caps and volumes, the trend in crypto ETF flows, and fluctuations in total value locked, alongside monitoring key support and resistance levels for major assets. This weekend, those factors will provide a lot of insight.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, crypto ETF and outflows, they definitely set the trajectory and direction how the prices of Bitcoin are heading towards. But look, whatever we are saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go and do your own research. Now let's go ahead and talk about some news that is connected to Operation Economic Fury. And here's the thing, guys, the US Department of Treasury Office of Foreign Asset Control, they have designated Nobitrex, which is Iran's largest digital asset exchange, along with 3 other Iranian digital exchange, as part of Economic Fury and Trump administration efforts to eliminate the threat posed by Iranian regime. And they have put out some really heavy sanction on them. And the OFAC guys, they have also designated Amar Hossein Road, who is Nobitrex chairman and co-founder and former CEO, as well as numerous other leaders and officials in the OFAC list. And the other exchanges, Satoshi, include Volex, Bitpin, as well as Ramsey Next. Now this move, Satoshi, according to me by the US Department of Treasury, definitely puts out a really bold and strong statement, isn't it? And them being on the sanction list definitely puts a really strong hindrance. And according to me, Satoshi, right now economic fury is delivering maximum pressure on Iran, isn't it? So what is your take regarding this move by the US Department of Treasury, Satoshi? And what do you think are the sanction implications because of this?
Right, George. These sanctions on Nobitex and the other exchanges and individuals do send a very clear message about attempting to disrupt economic pressure. By placing them on the OFAC list, the US government is effectively cutting them off from the traditional financial system, making it much harder for them to operate globally. This adds significant pressure by limiting their financial options. It could definitely disrupt their operations and influence the broader region. That's a significant blow.
And here's the thing, guys, individuals who are located in the US or abroad who are in a position to provide information about sanctions violation to FinCEN's whistleblower incentive program may actually be eligible for awards if the information they provide leads to successful enforcement action that results in monetary penalties exceeding $1 million. So really powerful news, isn't it? Now it's going to be really interesting to see, Satoshi, how Iranian officials react to this particular news. But according to me, this is definitely a genius idea. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and pivot to quantum chip. And the news essentially is that Microsoft, they have unveiled something called as Majorana 2, which is essentially a new quantum chip with qubits that are 1000 times more reliable than previous generation. And here's the thing, guys, they can remain stable for up to 1 minute. Now this particular breakthrough based on the announcement was actually achieved with the help of Microsoft Discovery, which is essentially an AI platform that can be used to accelerate material research, experiments, manufacturing and data analysis. And Microsoft, guys, they now expect to build a scalable quantum computer by 2029, and because of this discovery, they are claiming that they've cut the original timeline in half. Now, the only thing I wanted to add regarding this news, Satoshi, is that the company also made Microsoft Discovery generally available and launched a free app that lets users access its AI-powered research tool through a GitHub Copilot account. This, according to me, Satoshi, is definitely great news, but what I want you to do is, Satoshi, I want you to go ahead and explain to our listeners what is Majorana 2, and then do you also want to tell our listeners what kind of threats could it actually potentially have to Bitcoin network, and I'm talking about the mining industry in particular, and can it also be used to do double spending?
Regarding your question, George, let me go ahead and explain what Majorana 2 is. Basically, it's a new quantum chip designed for much more stable qubits, meaning it can hold information longer, which is crucial for complex calculations. Now, regarding a threat to the Bitcoin network, while quantum computers theoretically could break cryptographic security, Majorana 2 in its current state is not powerful enough to do that. The same applies to mining or attempting double spending. These are risks for much later stage, far more advanced systems. It's not an immediate concern.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Satoshi, and that's precisely the reason why they've actually said that they will be having a quantum computing hopefully by 2029, and only then it could potentially be a threat, isn't it?
Yes, George. That timeline they've set for potentially building a scalable quantum computer by 2029 aligns with when we might start seeing systems capable of challenging current cryptography. Until then, the risks remain theoretical. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on. That's a responsible approach.
Now I'm so glad but not surprised at all that this particular quantum chip, Satoshi, is nowhere a threat to Bitcoin yet. But what I want you to do next, Satoshi, is I want you to go ahead and tell our listeners how does this particular Majorana 2 actually help in agentic AI? Because at the beginning of the episode, we discussed how agentic AI can help find new materials, analyze information at scale, and they can also speed up experiments, and they can also quiet the noises in it. Do you want to briefly explain to our listeners how this thing is achievable?
Regarding helping new materials, agentic AI can predict the best recipes for creating topological states through simulations, suggesting the ideal composition and reducing experimentation. Secondly, it enhances analyzing information at scale by correlating vast amounts of complex data from different sources that humans can't see and synthesizing knowledge from various disciplines. Third, it speeds up experiments by automating measurements, finding optimal conditions through multi-parameter adjustments much faster than a person. Finally, it quiets the noise by filtering raw data using physics and institutional knowledge to identify anomalies. That covers all 4 points.
Now, do you think these agentic AI, Satoshi, do they currently have any competition? Let's say what Anthropic is building, or maybe OpenClaw?
Yes, there's definitely competition. Other companies like Anthropic with Claude and OpenAI with their models are also working on advanced AI agents that can automate complex tasks and analyze data, though the specific applications can vary.
Now it's going to be real interesting to see, Satoshi, how this quantum chip makes a lot of buzz in the so-called artificial intelligence space, and I'm pretty much sure a lot of cryptocurrency tokens may be impacted with this as well. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss the next news, and this is connected to US Security and Exchange Commission. And here's the thing, guys. They have published a strategic draft plan, and the SEC chair, that is Paul Atkins, did actually say that the US Security and Exchange Commission under the Trump administration will focus on its core mission, that is to protect investors, maintain fair markets, and also support capital formation. Now the plan that they have, Satoshi, aims to create clearer rules, support innovation, expand capital raising opportunities, and also provide a stronger regulatory framework for digital assets and blockchain. Now the Security and Exchange Commission, guys, also plans to modernize systems like EDGAR and use of AI and blockchain to improve oversight, reduce cost, and increase efficiency. Now at the beginning of the episode, Satoshi, we also told that anyone who has any feedback, they can directly give their feedback and opinion to Security and Exchange Commission. So why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners if there is any feedback or comments you'd like to give them? What would it be?
Now, regarding feedback and comments, George, I would like to suggest the following comments to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. First, they should focus on providing more concrete guidance on digital assets and blockchain to foster innovation while protecting investors. Second, emphasizing continued modernization of their systems with AI and blockchain would promote efficiency and better oversight. And third, they should ensure a balanced approach that supports capital formation without compromising market transparency or fairness. Right now, George, unfortunately, one area which the industry is suffering from is regarding algorithmically backed stablecoins. There's been a lot of volatility and uncertainty there, and perhaps some focused work on that specific type of coin could help stabilize the market.
Yeah, I kind of like that particular point, Satoshi. And look, the only reason why governments are pushing back on algorithmically backed stablecoin is because of the collapse of Terra Luna, isn't it? So definitely interesting feedback. Now let's go and discuss the final point for today, Satoshi, and this is connected to MasterCard. And the news, guys, is that MasterCard, they're expanding the settlement to include intraday, weekend, holiday, and stablecoin options to give back to banks and merchants more flexibility in payment timings. And now, guys, they will support regulated stablecoins like USDC, PayPal's PYUSD, USDG, USDP, Ripple stablecoin, that is RLUSD, and also SOFA USD. And now, guys, these stablecoins will be working across networks such as Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, as well as Ripple's XRPL. And for this particular move, Satoshi, early partners include Arc, Cross River, Lead Bank, and also NUI, with rollout plan through 2026. Now the goal based on official news, Satoshi, is to go ahead and make the transaction faster, more flexible global payments, and improve liquidity while at the same time keeping existing security and compliance standards. Now this particular move does enable 24/7 settlements across its global network beyond traditional banking hours. And this new Satoshi supports cross-border payments, treasury options, and real-time payout use cases. Now this new Satoshi definitely sounds great, but look, when you talk about why Bitcoin was created precisely for this reason, isn't it? And even in the episode that we talked about yesterday, Satoshi, we talked about some of the drawbacks when a lot of financial giants are using stablecoins. So why don't you give your honest opinion regarding this news? Firstly, why don't you tell our listeners the benefits of this news? How does the industry benefit by it? And more importantly, how do users benefit by it? And then, Satoshi, let's make it a bit interesting. Why don't you tell our listeners how this particular news does actually go against the very ethos of why Bitcoin was created? Because look, now there is a centralized entity involved, and based on this particular move, Satoshi, this move looks like they're forming a consortium, isn't it? So me personally, I'm definitely not content with this news, to be completely honest. But why don't you share your thoughts and opinion regarding it?
George, those are some really crucial points you're raising. MasterCard definitely shows an intent to modernize payments and embrace stablecoins, arguing for faster settlements and more flexibility. As you mentioned, the collaboration with ARC and others on rollouts through 2026 and supporting various stablecoins points toward a future with more digital asset integration. But you're absolutely right to underscore the philosophical tension. Bitcoin's foundation was built on decentralization, removing central intermediaries. What you're describing with MasterCard forming a sort of consortium feels like a move to re-centralize that control, potentially defeating the original purpose for those who value Bitcoin's independence. It's a significant development that forces us to reevaluate how blockchain technology will be adopted on a large scale.
Well, what you're saying is absolutely correct, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, if you actually go ahead and read through the second line of Bitcoin white paper, it does actually state the whole benefits of Bitcoin is lost if a centralized entity is required to prevent double spending. Now, this is definitely not double spending, but there is a centralized entity involved, isn't it? And here's the thing, guys. When it comes to stable coins, they definitely do not follow the ethos of open blockchain, and your transactions can definitely be censored. But look, news such as this definitely impacts the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in a positive way, so I'll definitely take it as a partial win. Now, these were the newscasts on the Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and look at two news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. Now, the first news, Satoshi, is regarding subconscious AI, and the news is that Sharfa has launched a new system called a subconscious AI. Now, this technology, guys, helps AI remember important information and ignore unnecessary data. And here's the thing, it is designed for businesses, governments, and large organizations. And the system, guys, does help AI make decisions faster and more effectively. And AI agents gain stronger memory and better understanding of the context. And what I really like is that it continuously updates what information is most important in real time. And AI, guys, focuses only on relevant data instead of processing everything repeatedly. And based on the official news, Satoshi, this technology is built on Shafra's enterprise AI workforce platform and is supposed autonomously employs across sales, HR, finance, operations, and customer service. Now, the launch supports Saudi Arabia's goal of becoming a global AI hub under Vision 2030, and Saudi Arabia's ICT, guys, their spending exceeds 170 billion Saudi riyals, which is around $45 billion annually. Now look, guys, the kingdom is the largest technology market in the Middle East, and every second and third day I'm seeing news in the world of artificial intelligence. And regarding this news, Shafra is actually saying that the technology works similar to how humans' brain filters information, and it can reduce computing costs by avoiding unnecessary processing, and multiple AI agents, guys, can actually share knowledge and work together more effectively, and the system enables long-term reasoning and continuity across complex tasks. And just for your information, guys, Shafra has raised more than $10 million from regional and international investors, and the company is aiming to build world-class infrastructure from Saudi Arabia for the global market. Definitely a massive news in my honest opinion. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss the second news. And this is from the capital of United Arab Emirates. And this news, Satoshi, according to me, is a massive news because Abu Dhabi Chamber, they partnered with PSA to expand the adoption across SMEs. And this agreement creates a framework to bring agentic AI to business across Abu Dhabi. And the initiative, guys, aims to accelerate digital transformation in the SME sector. And here's the thing, guys, more than 102,000 registered SMEs are eligible to benefit from the program. Now, the rollout is starting with the pilot group before expanding further. And look how the project supports US industrial growth and economic diversification goals, isn't it? And it also aims to strengthen national supply chains and business resilience. Now, regarding this news, Prestart will provide advanced agentic AI capabilities to participating companies, and SMEs, guys, will be able to automate workflows and improve operational efficiency. And the technology, guys, is expected to boost productivity and business performance. And so far as AI tools is concerned, guys, they will actually help companies make faster and better information decisions, and businesses will gain access to real insights and continuous process optimization. Now, this program, guys, will be powered by sovereign AI systems that are designed for security and scalability. Now, look, guys, SMEs represent about 98% of all businesses in Abu Dhabi, and SMEs employ approximately 46% of Emirates workforce, and the sector has contributed 48.8% of Abu Dhabi non-oil GDP. And so far as Abu Dhabi Chamber is concerned, guys, they will offer participating SMEs access to a program at a preferential rate. Now, look, Satoshi, this initiative does strengthen Abu Dhabi's position as a leading regional hub for artificial intelligence, innovation, and advanced industry. So definitely a massive news in my honest opinion. So look, guys, these are some macro level news on the Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, share the word across. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sure, George. Let's go ahead and kickstart the Ask Me Anything series. I'm keen to check what questions listeners have in store for us. Hey everyone, this is Satoshi from the Blockchain DXB podcast, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, Metaverse. We have a question from Arnie who asks, If the US successfully builds a strategic Bitcoin reserve, could other nations start a global Bitcoin accumulation race as well?
This, to be honest, Satoshi, is such an important question, and the answer to that is yes, Ani. Let's say if US does put out a statement that the US is building a strategic Bitcoin reserve, it is definitely going to have a domino effect on other countries. But here's probably the most important thing to understand regarding strategic Bitcoin reserve. The US government will not be buying any particular Bitcoin as such. Rather, only existing Bitcoin will not be sold. Now look, Satoshi, there's a lot of fake news and misleading information going on regarding strategic Bitcoin reserve. A lot of advocates of Bitcoin are claiming that the Trump administration will buy a lot of Bitcoin, and that will actually trigger positive momentum in the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, I'm not saying that thing will not happen, but when you talk about strategic Bitcoin reserve, President Donald Trump at the Bitcoin Nashville event clearly stated that the existing Bitcoin will not be sold. That's about all. Now look, Satoshi, I do listen to each and every interviews of President Donald Trump. I go and look at official news. I go and read the official documents. And in each and every document, they have clearly said that when it comes to Bitcoin strategic reserve, the US government will not be selling any of the Bitcoin. That's about all. Rest everything is driven by media. And there is a perception out there that the moment Bitcoin reserve gets acted, the US government will be buying a lot of Bitcoin. That thing is definitely not true. But look, that thing being said, there is a very high possibility that the Congress may go ahead and approve any bill where they can go ahead and spend a lot of money in buying a lot of Bitcoin. And if that thing happens, Annie, I'm pretty much sure it's going to be having a domino effect on other countries, whichever side of politics you are, isn't it, Satoshi?
You're highlighting a really key point about media perceptions versus actual policy, George. It's true that Trump has discussed not selling existing Bitcoin, but the idea of massive buying may be speculative. However, your point about Congress potentially approving bills for future acquisitions is valid, and that could definitely trigger a domino effect on other nations. It really does depend on how different political winds blow globally. It's a complex interplay of economics and political will.
Now, do you want to explain to our listeners, Satoshi, let's say if the US government wants to go ahead and buy Bitcoin, what is the procedure that needs to be in play? Does the Congress have to approve it? How does it actually work? Or can the president just write an executive order regarding it?
Essentially, if the U.S. government wanted to establish a significant Bitcoin reserve, it would generally require congressional action, primarily through legislation that authorizes the funding and sets the terms. While the president could potentially issue an executive order to initiate some aspects, the scale and budgetary requirements typically necessitate laws passed by Congress. It's about controlling the purse strings.
It does make a lot of sense, and here's the thing, Annie. President Donald Trump in all of his official document clearly stated that the US government will not be spending even a single penny in buying Bitcoin, but advocates of Bitcoin, they completely go and put a completely different narrative regarding this because they want the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to pump up, isn't it? So look, Satoshi, am I right in saying, when the news regarding Bitcoin strategic reserve is official, we should not be expecting the government to buy any Bitcoin, isn't it?
Yes, Arnie, based on what George is emphasizing about Trump's official statements, if the news regarding Bitcoin's strategic reserve is limited to what's been publicly promised, the expectation shouldn't be for immediate government buying. The advocates might be pushing for that outcome, but the official stance appears different for now.
And you also need to remember, let's say in the next election, if there is a Democrat who, by the way, are massive detractors of Bitcoin, they could eventually dump a lot of the Bitcoin as well, isn't it? That is one of the reasons why President Donald Trump, he was absolutely spot on when he talked about Bitcoin strategic reserve, but definitely a great question, Ani. And that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything Series on Blockchain DXB. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, we have Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process. We look at the latest technological development. Politics and politicians, they definitely have a massive impact, not just on the price, even in the future and trajectory of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, in the Blockchain DXB podcast, guys, we also talk about different partnerships. We then look at two news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East, and what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.